Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and today we are going to be talking about the playoff picture, NFC and AFC alike, as we've got 2 weeks left in the regular season. Still a lot left to be determined, so we're just really going to have an open conversation about these playoff races. There's still, as I mentioned, so much left to be decided. Teams that could be in, that could be in contention for a bye, or even still teams that are fighting for their division. So, the floor is open. Anyone who wants to start off with the first topic of the playoff picture that we talked about.
I'll go first. I think this is the most intriguing thing to talk about when you're talking about playoffs because both these teams so good. Obviously, when I say that, I'm going to the NFC side.
He said both these teams so good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Are so good.
You're clearly talking about Dallas and Philadelphia.
Of course. I'm talking about Seahawks and 49ers
Both these
because
teams so
both
good.
these teams so good. Someone quote it, please. But they're both 11-3. 11-3 in the 5 seed is San Francisco after they lost to the Atlanta Falcons previously, just a couple of days ago. And both these teams so good, but one of these teams is going to end up being in a wild card position
crazy.
with a better record than maybe every other team in the NFC.
Well, this week, if Seattle beats Arizona and San Francisco loses to the Rams, Seattle wins the division no matter what happens in Week 17. But if they both win or both lose, or any combination that doesn't involve Seattle winning and San Francisco losing, this Week 17 game is an NFC West championship.
That's going to be so great.
And I think that's what it's going to come down to. And remember,
It's true.
Seattle beat San Francisco in overtime earlier in the year. This one would be up with the 12s in Seattle. So, assuming the division is still up for grabs in Week 17, which is highly likely, this is going to be one of the... Honestly, even in Week 17, it could be one of the best games of the year. They put on a show last time they played.
Mm-hmm. And the chance for the Rams making it into the playoffs is slipping and slipping.
Yeah.
But we could possibly see 3 NFC West teams in, but the Rams, they're looking...
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially with how
very
tough the NFC is. You know, according to 538, a source that has NFL playoff predictions and odds, they have a 3% chance of just making the playoffs. If they win out, that chance only goes up to 11. So, down but not out for the LA Rams. My Super Bowl pick. Seriously.
They're both my Super Bowl picks. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's keep going to the NFC right now. Let's go to a different division. The NFC North, another team or another division with 2 good teams, not the same record but very close to it. The 11-3 Green Bay Packers and the 10-4 Minnesota Vikings. These 2 teams will play on Monday Night Football. Probably just a couple days from when you're watching this video. If you're watching it right as it gets posted, it's going to be one heck of a game, and whoever takes that will be in a good position to win the division. But I'm excited for that game.
Mm-hmm. And as an NFC North person who's a fan of the Bears, who are in the NFC North, who are not going to be in the playoffs, we probably won't be talking about them in this video. Just shout out to them real quickly.
Gotta shout out.
I do know a thing or two about the NFC North, and these teams are they're both very, very good teams. Now,
Did you just compliment the Vikings?
they're good teams.
I didn't know you...
Wow.
No, you don't like Minnesota, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, they're not going to get in the first place in the division, don't worry. But anyways, the thing, and this is going to surprise you,
Oh.
the more rounded team is Minnesota, in my opinion. But
That Green Bay logo is so round. I'm messing with you.
it's more of an oval. It's
Yeah.
an ellipse.
Still round.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a circle or an oval. It's still round.
Fair point.
Okay, we all passed geometry here, alright?
I played myself.
Sure.
So they're both very, very even teams. It should be fun to see what happens with them. I do think the Packers will win, as I said.
Yeah, I don't though.
But
That's
we'll
not
see
a picks
what
video.
happens this game.
Well, I just, just,
If you want a picks video, go watch the last video we posted.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
But
You can't tell us what
Yeah.
to do. This is America.
okay, but yeah, this game is big. But even if Minnesota wins that game, they'd both be 11-4. Green Bay would hold the tiebreaker due to best win percentage in division games. Then in Week 17, if they both win, that being Green Bay and Minnesota, if they both win, both finish 12-4. Green Bay still gets the tiebreaker. If they both
And
lose
Green
in
Bay
Week
got
17,
the Lions.
and if they both lose in Week 17,
Yep.
Green Bay would still get the tiebreaker. So that division record is going to be key in this one. Even if Minnesota wins against Green Bay, they still don't control their own destiny beyond that.
So the Bears kind of do get involved in that next week.
They do, you know. I mean, obviously, if they want to
Vikings
help
playing the
if
Bears.
they want to help the Packers, they could beat the Vikings.
Well, this could be 2 years in a row now that the Bears gonna mess up the Vikings.
I mean, the Vikings
They'll
will
make
probably
the playoffs anyways, but-
they'll be in.
Yeah, they will. Unless we'll get. Actually, let's just talk about the wild card really quickly right now. First of all, New Orleans. We're doing this by division kind of right now. First of all, New Orleans not going to be one of those teams in the wild
They
card.
already won the division.
But they already won their
Scared me
division.
for a second.
So I just wanted to get that division over with. The NFC South not very good.
It's over.
They're clearly on top of that division. But now it's in the NFC.
they have the high ground.
The
on top of
NFC
that
East
division.
with the
They do.
Cowboys and
Don't
the Eagles.
underestimate them.
And then what I was talking about before, the Rams sitting on the outside and the Eagles sitting on the outside. So let's talk about the NFC East a little bit more. Of course, we got that big matchup coming up. What do you guys expect to see from this terrible division?
Well, I think it's going to be a close game, but I just think Dallas is a healthier team right now, and Philadelphia they've won their last 2 games, but they're against not so good teams, and they've barely sneaked by. I think Dallas they thank you, Denver police, but they snuck Graham Mertz. But I just think I think Dallas is the better team. I think Dallas is the better team, and I think Dallas is the healthier team. So I got Dallas winning this game, and if Dallas wins this game, which I think they will, they'd go to 8-7. Wow, winning record in that division, and they'd clinch the division due to them having not only a better record than Philly, but they would have swept the season series. So I think Dallas can. I know Dallas can clinch with the win, but I think they will.
Well, these two teams for them are on a hot streak right now. They both won the last game. Eagles winning 2 in a row.
Wow, that's
Um,
rare for the
Yeah.
Easterns.
Yep. So I think
Of the
it's
North.
going to come down to the matchup that we have going on this week. We'll see what
It's
happens
out.
with that. But it's going to be a close division, and if they make the playoffs, I mean, anything could happen in the NFL. Once
Yeah.
you make the playoffs, you're fighting
Brand new year.
hard. They're going to be playing a team that could very well be the first seed. Either way, most likely probably Seattle or San Francisco
Seattle.
at this point.
Francisco.
So it's not going to be easy for whoever makes it, but it should be fun to see who makes it and fun to see if they can really put up a fight against the best in the NFC.
One more thing.
After all the trash that we've been giving the NFC East.
Yep, true. Lots of trash, deservingly so. But one more thing we could talk about with the NFC. Obviously, the one more team that's in the hunt we haven't mentioned very much, the Rams.
Yeah,
What do you guys
mentioned
think
them
the
actually,
playoff
but,
chances for the Rams are?
Mm.
As we make this
Well,
video.
think about it. What needs to happen?
We talked about the stats. of this.
What needs to happen for the Rams to get in? They first they have to win out, and they need Minnesota to lose out. So it's possible. They
It
got.
definitely is possible.
It starts on Saturday. They got to beat San Francisco, who they lost to earlier at home. That's a tough task right there. Then they'd have to win against the Cardinals, much easier task at home in Week 17, and then along with that, Minnesota would have to lose to Green Bay and Chicago, allowing the teams to both finish at 10-6, and the Rams to win the tiebreaker based on the best win percentage in the conference game. So it's possible, Rams, but you got to win out, and you got to have the Vikings to lose out. So Rams are the only team left. There's really 2 spots open for. Well, really, it's only 1 spot open because that 5th seed is going to almost certainly be that NFC West wild card, and then the 6th seed, it's probably going to be the Vikings, but the Rams, they win out, they get some help from some NFC North teams, they're in.
Yep. Thank you for spitting those bars about the NFC teams. Anyways, let's move on to a less good but still interesting division because there are good teams in it. Of course, with the top team.
There's good team in it.
There are good teams. There's good teams in both
There's
divisions.
good team
More
in
in the NFC.
There's
Those
But-
are conferences, by the way.
There's good team.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I said divisions. I mean, there are better divisions than the NFC anyways. The statement is still true. But let's move on to the AFC as a conference.
Yeah,
Remember-
let's just start at the top here.
Yes, thank you.
And we start with the Ravens. I mean, almost non-debatably at this point, the best team in the NFL. They've had a tough schedule,
Yeah,
and they've
best
shown
record.
up everywhere they've gone, and they've just dominated and dominated. And guess
dominated.
what?
They dominated?
That's right. They did that.
Well, guess what?
So
Yeah.
they'll be number 1 seed most likely.
Probably, but okay, finish.
And anything could happen. Obviously, as my dog barks, you can probably hear that. I would tell him to be quiet, but I don't want to leave, and I'm talking right now. So one of you guys should just take over.
Just deal with the dog.
Yeah, Baltimore's won that division already, but still, they don't have a lock yet. They're not guaranteed that number 1 seed because look, if they lose out, and that'd be losing to Cleveland, who they lost earlier, in Pittsburgh, who's played well, New England loses at least one to finish no better than 12-4, and then Kansas City wins out to finish 12-4. Kansas City, Baltimore, and New England would all be 12-4 in that scenario, but Kansas City has beaten both Baltimore and New England, so then Kansas City would get that one spot. So Kansas City is still alive from the one spot. New England is still alive for that one spot, and I'll have to toy around with this in a second. I mean, there's still so many possibilities for the AFC because, it's not Baltimore's conference yet. They've still got some work to do, and there's still some other teams that are alive for a first-round bye. It's the number one seed.
Well, it is Baltimore's division, I guess you could say, at this point. But let's go kind of division by division and just talk about that because there are a lot of interesting, in almost every division, really, there's interesting stuff besides your NFC West. That one's kind of settled, I think, by this point. So we'll start in the
AFC. I think you said NFC.
I did, yeah. AFC West.
The NFC West, not
We already talked about them. Yeah, that's a different story completely. But let's start with the AFC South.
Well, the AFC South, an interesting one. It's almost settled. It looks like Houston's going to take that division because of their win over the Titans, and they'd win the tiebreaker. Even if Tennessee was to go and beat the Texans in Week 17, if they had the same record, Houston would get in over them by obligation of the stats that we have on the NFL playoff machine. Thank you for the NFL playoff machine.
Yeah,
but they're going to get in most likely, and if not, they'll get the wild card spot, it seems like, unless something wild happens.
Yeah. We've seen crazy things happen, and with this division, Houston, according to 538, they've got a 87% chance of winning that division. They win one of their next two games, they win the division. It's pretty self-explanatory. But one thing that I don't think is getting enough attention is the race for that 3 seed, because I feel like one of the biggest misconceptions when we talk about this football playoff picture, people just assume that the 3 seed and the 4 seed are interchangeable. Like, well, 3 seed, 4 seed doesn't make a difference because you don't have a bye. Which, to a point, yes, you're still playing the same amount of games, but whoever gets that 4 seed is going to have to play Buffalo first round, and this is a Buffalo team. Probably. But, well, I almost think almost certainly
actually they might be locked
Buffalo's
as a
beating
5
Tennessee
seed.
and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost certain right now.
Yep.
So, honestly,
Unless they win the division.
True.
Oh.
Well,
then
then
you're
you
playing
play
the
the Patriots. So this 4 seed is not a place you want to be, because then even if you do win, guess what? You got to go to Baltimore. While if you get the 3 seed, you don't have to play Buffalo, and then you get to play likely a New England team in the divisional round that has not been that good against a fellow AFC contender. So I think the difference between the 3 seed and the 4 seed will be huge. So looking at Houston, if they finish in the 4 seed and play Buffalo first round, I truthfully don't think they can win that game. If they finish in the 3 seed, and they'd have probably play Pittsburgh or Tennessee, I think they win that game. Then they'd probably go to New England. I think they could win that game and then lose in the AFC Championship. But I just think this difference between the 3 and the 4 seed, with how tough your path could be, I just don't think it's enough emphasis for both conferences.
Absolutely, that's true.
All right, we just hinted at it. Let's talk a little bit more about it, but what you would think would definitely not be an interesting division is actually an interesting division, and that's the AFC East. You got the Patriots and the Bills both fighting for this division spot. Of course, we got another Week 16 matchup coming up with these two teams that could have big implications on the playoffs. It's going to be fun to watch that. Buffalo starting to prove what they're going to be able to do. Now beating another above 500 team in 6 Pittsburgh Steelers, who've also looked really good.
So with the AFC East, it's looking as though New England is going to say AFC again. AFC East.
Come on, you're not on your A game.
Literally, he's on his end game right now.
Yeah.
End game.
We're at the end game now.
But it looks like the AFC East team, the Patriots, it looks like they're going to take it with a matchup against Miami at the end. So even if they lose to the Bills this week, they'll have Miami. They should win that game and at least take the division. They most likely will. They should. It looking like they should stay at. Trevor, it'd be looking like
the grammar of this video.
They're going to stay in this 2 seed, in my opinion. But the Chiefs, the Chiefs, Texans, well, not really Texans. The Chiefs and the Bills are fighting to get there as well. So who knows? That's always up for grabs, but the Bills have been playing very well.
All right, so really quick, I just want to have us all pick one team from each conference that we think maybe kind of like a dark horse contender. You could agree. You know what I'm saying? You know, dark horse. You know, so obviously we'll start with the NFC. Tyler, you go first.
Oh, okay. I'll start with the NFC really quickly. And a dark horse contender for the playoffs.
Well,
I'm saying, I mean, it could be for
who's
in the playoffs.
in the
I mean,
playoffs.
obviously for the NFC, it's probably who's in the playoffs with the Rams.
Well,
if you think they're going to somehow get in.
Yeah.
NFC East team.
I don't think it could
There's
be.
really no dark horse besides
think-
the NFC East teams. You can't choose.
Yeah,
them
all
practically.
the teams in the NFC right now are good besides the Cowboys, and I don't think they're going to be able to make a run. So I would say I'd have to go with the team that's going to be the 6th seed, and I would say that's probably going to be Minnesota, so that would be my pick for the NFC. For the AFC, we didn't really mention them as much as we should have, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, are a team. Either them or Buffalo, the 5 and 6 seed, that can be a team that can really go on a run in the playoffs. I think when they won their last Super Bowl, they were in a similar position to this, and then
Wait, who are you talking about?
the Steelers,
Okay.
and then the Buffalo Bills. Isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're talking about Bills and Super Bowl, like that does not add up.
Yeah.
But for me personally, you know, I've liked Minnesota all year. I think that they are able to be a really good football team when Kirk Cousins is healthy. And I said this in the beginning of the year, it's just with all that talent around him, it was just a matter of time before Kirk Cousins was almost due to just start producing. And he's producing. You know, he's not putting up MVP numbers. He should not be considered in the MVP race. He's holding his own. The receivers are making plays. Obviously, the Dalvin Cook situation is a question mark. That defense is still good. If they get in, even if it's the 6th seed, I would not be shocked at all if they make a run to the NFC title game. And then the AFC, these Buffalo Bills, I think they're in a really good spot where, truthfully, right now they'd play Houston. I think they could win that game. And then they'd either go to New England and Baltimore, and they've proven that they could play both of those teams very well. As they played them, obviously they still got to play New England again, but they held Baltimore to 1 score, and they held New England to 1 score last time they played them. So watch out for Minnesota and Buffalo, in my opinion. Those are my dark horse teams.
So I'm not gonna pick Minnesota.
Why? What is with you in Minnesota? Like, why don't you like Minnesota?
I've explained this before. Well, first off,
Come on, man.
first off, they're in the Bears division, so I have to hate them. That's one thing.
Wow.
And 2 is that people just think. I think their defense has been a lot better, and that's what's been carrying them. Everyone's like, Kirk Cousins, he's so good. And then Thielen came back this week. He did nothing. Stephon Diggs hasn't done too much.
I mean, they won 39-10.
Thielen did okay.
What do you do?
They got me
They
some
won by
fantasy points.
29 points.
Their
doesn't
defense
matter.
were a touchdown.
Why don't you like
That
Minnesota?
was their defense. I will give credit to their defense. I don't like their offense. With Dalvin Cook.
I don't like. That's how Jordan makes
Dalvin
his pick.
Cook-
I don't like that.
When Dalvin Cook is
Well, I
out,
do.
their offense goes.
Okay.
So.
So who do you think is going to be the dark horse team? Dark horse team
Alexander
since you just
Madison.
don't. Like, what did you say?
Alexander Madison.
Okay. Well, you can't really say a dark horse team this team is, but I'm just gonna go with the Saints because
Yeah.
they're my predictor to lose in the Super Bowl, and just because they lost to the 49ers, so it's like, hey, 49ers are better than them. You know, Seahawks, 49ers are 1 seed. Even the Packers are up there. Yeah, right.
I think that's a dark horse to an extent because the NFC West is getting all the attention right
Yeah.
now.
And then we switch over to the AFC, and no surprise here for me. And this is weird to say, but the Patriots are a dark horse right now just because of the way that they've been playing, I guess you could say. Their
That's
offense.
actually a fair point.
That's-
You know, I've been critical of them. That's a fair
Because
point.
there's like you said, there's criticism of them, and they're not looking their best. But when the playoffs come, they're an experienced team in the playoffs, and they'll be able to get it done over some younger teams, and they'll win the Super Bowl.
Strong statements to end the video. Thank you,
Wow,
Jordan.
that's bold.
Thank you, Jordan, for those strong comments. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for watching this video.
You're
Make sure to
welcome.
subscribe if you like that. And if you didn't, you should still subscribe because we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Make sure to like this video. Comment your opinions down below. If you
Comment.
do, you'll get a response.
Yep.
Hit the notification bell. And with all those
Do it.
things, we will see you guys later.
See ya.